microscopy, what are you supposed to know? About the ovum. So identify pointed structure, be specific. Oh. What will your answer be in the examination? Okay, nucleolus. Identify whole structure bracketed. Be specific. Okay. Identify pointed area. Cytoplasm. Okay? So, identify pointed structure. Okay, so you have to imagine that there's a cell membrane, okay, separating the ovum from the, okay, other cells to which the ovum is closely related. And you have to imagine that there's a nuclear membrane in between the nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. Okay? That's all that you need to know in the slide of the ovum. Okay? So you need not identify that it's the ovary or it's located in the ovarian cortex or stroma. Pero more or less, you should have an idea where to look for the ovum, di ba? It's located where? In the ovarian cortex. You don't look for an ovum in the ovarian medulla. So you have to know also that the ovary is lined by your germinal epithelium. And your germinal epithelium is lined by your what? Simple cuboidal epithelium. And underneath, okay, any epithelium is what? A connective tissue that supports the overlying epithelium. So you must remember that for every epithelium, there's an underlying connective tissue that supports that particular epithelium. And separating the epithelium from the connective tissue is what? Your basement membrane, right? So, classify pointed tissue, okay? Be specific. So remember, you have three types of cells, right? According to shape. Meron kang fusiform cells, cuboidal cells, and columnar cells. So how would you differentiate one from the other? So if it's squamous cell, so it's fusiform or spindle in shape. Okay, the nucleus is spherical and it's centrally located. Diba? So the middle is wide and both ends are what? Tapered. Okay? So for cuboidal, it's understandable, diba? All the sides more or less are equal. But under light microscopy, sometimes you will see all the nuclei of the cells and you just have to imagine that there are what? Cell membrane, no? Separating one cell from the other. So pag sinabing columnar cell, it's a tall, elongated cell. Okay? The nucleus, okay, is what? Usually oval then or spherical, sometimes flattened, so especially if it's mucus-secreting, and it's pushed towards the base of the cell, di ba? So dito, so how would you classify the tissue? Okay? Classify pointed tissue, be specific. Ano? So stratified cuboidal epithelium. Okay? So remember, you should write down, okay, the type of tissue. Okay? Don't write, halimbawa, stratified cuboidal. Tapos, there's no epithelium after stratified cuboidal. Kasi even if, for example, you were able to recognize that it's an epithelial tissue, a connective tissue, a bone, a cartilage, a muscle, or a nervous tissue, as long as you have recognized that it's the correct tissue, okay, you will get what? Half credit for writing that it's an epithelium, a connective tissue, a bone, a cartilage, a muscle, or a nervous tissue. Okay? So that's all you need to know for the slide of the ovary. Okay. Classify pointed tissue. Okay. Be specific. Classify pointed tissue completely. Be specific. Okay? Simple, what? Columnar epithelium with goblet cells. Okay? So identify pointed structure, goblet cells. Classify pointed structure or gland according to the number of cells. Unicellular. Classify pointed tissue. Be specific. Classify pointed tissue. Be specific. Loose or areolar connective tissue. So remember, in the lamina propria of your respiratory tract and GIT wall, okay, the connective tissue underneath the epithelium is always a loose type of connective tissue. Okay, what is this? Is it an epithelium? If it's an epithelium, what type of epithelium is that? Glandular na epithelium. So it's a gland, okay? So remember, your lining epithelium invaginates, okay, in this particular case, in the wall of the GIT to form your intestinal glands, okay? So those tubular structures, no, that you see in the lamina propria are what? Glands, okay? So classify pointed structure according to morphology. Simple tubular gland, okay? So classify whole structure according to the type of secretion. Mucus, okay? Gland. So remember, when you study the GIT wall, okay, separating the lamina propria from the submucosa is a layer of what? Smooth muscle, which you call muscularis mucosae. So actually, in this area, hindi lang maganda tong slide na to, you should appreciate, okay, smooth muscle over this area. And the lining and the connective tissue beneath, okay, is what? Dense, irregular connective tissue. Classify pointed tissue. Be specific. What is this? Yan. Yan. What are those? Ano may laman sa loob? Those are actually what? Blood vessels. Okay? So, classify pointed tissue. Be specific. Simple squamous epithelium. Okay? Identify pointed structure. Be specific. Endothelium. So, remember, when simple squamous epithelium lines your blood vessels and your heart, it is called what? Endothelium. But if it lines body surfaces like your parietal pleura, peritoneum, okay, pericardium, it is called what? Mesothelium. But both linings are what? Simple squamous epithelium. Pag pina-identify sa inyo, so you write endothelium or mesothelium. Pag pina-classify, simple squamous epithelium. Okay? So this is a higher magnification of your simple columnar epithelium. Okay, look at the nuclei. Okay, they are directed towards the base of the cells. Okay, your goblet cell. This is what? Loose or areolar connective tissue. Okay. Classify pointed tissue completely. Be specific. Okay. Pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. Completely So classify pointed tissue completely. Be specific. Pseudo-stratified ciliated columnar epithelium with goblet cells. Okay? So identify pointed structures. Okay. Microvilli. Cilia pala, sorry. Nahilo na ako. Okay? So, identify pointed structure.
Basal
basement membrane. What type of collagen forms the structural